Many young communicators see you as a master of message control from several press releases and outings you did in previous administration. And what is your guiding principle when you craft a public narrative under political pressure? Maybe there is an example you can use analogy, sir.
When you are communicating through a statement or writing a response, or you have an objective. You want to reach the public with the message. And by necessity, you must go through the mass communication system. And the mass communication system is structured in a way that it mediates the message that you want to convey. The editors would go through it, would remove and even possibly add to what you have
written.
So therefore, it's not as if one is claiming to know how to do this better than other people. But I think that if you are a spokesman in that regard and you are going to the public, you want to make sure that your message goes to the destination, to your own public, without any form of noise inside or interruption. So you write it in a way, as much as you can, in a way that you make it very difficult for the editor to meddle in a script.
Even under political pressure.
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, some overzealous editor or rewrite person can turn things upside down.
So are there statements you made in defense of your former principal that if you look back, you would want to reframe it or you want to do it differently?
Well, when you speak for a president, you are also, it is not always the case that it is the president himself that will sit down and brief you on what to write or what to say and what not to say. Given that you yourself, you have been trained to be a journalist, somebody who gathers news, that skill helps you to also gather a story around the president and the issue in the belief that it will be helpful. So in the course of gathering information, you talk to different people. And in journalism, you are trained to be skeptical. Whatever they give you, you must check and cross-check.
Scrutinize.
Yeah. But in the setting like you have inside government, you make the assumption that you're on board together with everyone. And to give a specific example, for instance, there was a time when there was an incident in Zabarmari military when about 50 farmers were killed by Boko Haram. And then there was the other one in Sokoto, in Katsina, Kankara actually, in a girls' school, where about 300 girls were stolen. Yeah, and I remember going to talk about the Sokoto, the one in Katsina. Well, in Zambarmari, you were misled. And in Kankara, you were misled by people who you believe were on the same page with you. You are swimming in the same direction. You are in the same government. And then spokesman of the military says to you, don't believe the story about 300 girls. Those that they kidnapped were no more than 10. And then you find that you're having to speak to international audiences. And to assure you that he was even saying what was factual. He was saying, we're here on the ground, we just landed in Katsina. I have the Minister of Defense, we have the Chief of Army Staff, we're all going to the village. If you like, you can talk to any one of them. They're no more than 10. Sufficiently reassuring. And then 2 or 3 days after, these girls were recovered. And there you are seated in the same hall with them, all 280 or so of them
School children.
in the same. And so therefore, what do you do? So I had to come out and apologize, because these young people, they have parents, they have sisters and community members and family, and to project yourself as being insensitive to the plight. So that would have been the highest it could get. So as for regret, that's certainly something that one regrets doing, and one feels used and cheated in that regard.
As a former spokesperson, do you think there is a way the government of the day can communicate the policies differently than the way they are, considering this situation that most Nigerians, poor people living in rural communities, are not feeling the impact of the government?
You know, I have been myself very careful in speaking about the current administration in place for one or two reasons. One is that it is an APC government, as ourselves. So they succeeded us, and we are in the same political party. And if anybody has a suggestion that they can make, people will ask the question, but it's yes, they are your people, they are the same. Why can't you talk to them? And another thing is, of course, it's also very easy to be misunderstood. As it is, I'm still spokesman for former President Buhari. And if you say anything today, people don't think that you have surrendered your freedom of expression, the right to hold an opinion. So assumption is made that no, it is Buhari who is speaking.
What does legacy mean to you, considering the decades you've been working as a PR spokesperson, a journalist, and the Nigeria that we are today? What would a legacy mean to you, and what do you think it would impact on Nigerians when it comes to saying this is Mallam Garba Shehu's legacy?
I don't know whether I merit this nationwide location where you are trying to take me to, but I know that mentoring people. When I was general manager, managing director, editor-in-chief of Triumph, I realized that I could donate 2 hours of my time to the mass comm department in Bayero University. So I was teaching final year students, and then when they started their master's degree program, I began to go there to teach 2 to 4 hours for public good, pro bono. What I have come to realize is those years, almost 7 years in all that I had there, perhaps would pass as some of the most valuable in terms of one's life, because you taught people and they have passed on. Some of them, the last time I checked, actually about 9 of them are PhD holders in communication. So they are educated well above where we have reached. And you realize at some point that nearly every major media organization that you wish to approach for support, or you just walk in on a visit, somebody will come up to you and say, but you taught me when I was
In the university.
in the university. You have completely
Forgotten.
And the service they will render to you is such that no amount of influence, no amount of money can fetch you that kind of support. I feel absolutely satisfied with that. And I wish maybe I will go back somehow to teaching again. And in any case, this book that I've written and is serving 2 purposes. Legacy for Muhammadu Buhari, but it is also a learning tool for those who will come after us.
And
Students of journalism, public relations, and researchers.
yeah, and just a few words from the book. Maybe there is a key lesson you want us to take away from the book before the launch. Maybe a few words, sir.
I won't say much outside the fact that I said it's a learning tool that I hope will be useful. People will be appointed as spokespersons for president. Again and again, we have done our own part. We wish that they will read this book and take lessons from the good things that we did so that they can build on that and also avoid the mistakes that we did.